Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. My name is Nichelle Anderson. I'm your host for Nichelle Anderson Short Stories and Beyond. With my podcast today, I'm going to focus on the remaining episodes of my director clip notes that will close out my last season. That was season 2, as I get ready to prepare for my next season, my third season. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so I just want to go over a couple of more things here. Again, I am returning back on September the 9th, 2019. That will kick off my season 3. So that would be season 2019 to 2020. Again, it would be a bi-year type release of my episodes instead of every week. So I did talk about that on my other podcast that I released today regarding my MOLIAE characters, that I kind of talked about a few characters there of the MOLIAE production. And just to kind of reiterate, if this is the actual podcast that you're listening to right now first instead of the other one that I'm releasing today. So starting in my regular season, I'm going to only release episodes 2 times a month, still on Monday, still by 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern time. I will have those dates for quick reference on MOLIAE.com, and I will put that in each of the episodes that I'm releasing, the next one that's going to be, published. I might just type the whole thing, but at any rate, you will see it either on the description here of the podcast or on MOLIAE starting next month. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. I want to try to keep this real short, but we got about 4 remaining, and that's episode 49 to 52. So let's start with 49. That was the King Mahlon accepts Rulen's message, episode 49. That's a very good one. That's where King Mahlon accepted the invitation to meet up with Rulen, because remember, during the end of season 2 last year, it was a lead up to capture Natu. When season 2 started up last September 2018, it was a lot of people trying to figure out what happened to Echo, what have you, and the rulers or superiors in Orion, or at least Hanee and Lanko, realized that Natu fingerprints was all over that, to have Echo found out by King Mahlon, and King Mahlon, took care of that. They're still trying to find Natu and who is supporting him. And then what happened to General Akun? He decides to go and meet up with Rulen, and it's a very good episode. It tells you a lot that there's some history between Mahlon and Rulen, not just over a woman, which is Hagar. That over time of my last 2 years, you can realize that Rulen is still fond of Hagar. They have a history together, and Rulen is, he's hating on Mahlon. He mad. Took his woman, so he's not happy about that. Okay, so you can get that tension. So that's where you see where it says here, I got my notes that Rulen looked down for a moment to continue, because King Mahlon was giving him like, okay, I'm here, say what you got to say, and I'm out, brother. I'm not digging you. And Rulen was like, in about 2 Apsu, Rulen stated that Natu will make a move to push back those after him, and that Lanko is determined to capture Natu from the orders of his Orion superiors due to the disappearance of Echo. So that's giving King Mahlon not only that tidbit, Natu's got a whole bunch of people after him, but Rulen also continued and said, and I know where General Akun is being kept. And at that moment, that's where King Mahlon and General Kamar looked at one another and realized, okay, now you got something really that we're interested in. And that's when Rulen decided to side with King Mahlon. Now, season 1, that is, it might be episode 26. You might have to double check that, where it's titled Queen Hagar Remembers the Old, or what have you. I can't think of the title right now. If I can, I would definitely link that in the description. But anyway, she goes sees Rulen. This is before this big war, right? Before the episode 1, before the time of Princess Amina, and something happened, right? You could tell when you listen to that episode where it was a war. King Mahlon got hurt, and that's where, before all that happened, it seemed like Queen Hagar was trying to, help her man, and she went to go see Rulen with, at that time, it was General Akun. That's a good episode too. I like that one. And Rulen was resistant because he didn't. Why do I need to help him? He already won and you married him, so why I'm helping him? But she was thinking, you got to think beyond that. You got to do what's right for humanity. You have to do what's right, not just what you're trying to get out of it. No matter how you feel of this, it is a duty of oneself to do what is right for the better of humankind or what have you. But really wasn't having that. And then you fast forward into episode 2, and I think that was, not sure, but it's the beginning. I think the 4th episode going into season 2. So it's not episode 4, but I think it's episode 536. Don't quote me, but that's when basically, what's the name? Go visit Rulen, which is Elder Tahib. He go visit Rulen into that encampment. It's down south of the Sudan, and that's where the Nile River also flows or what have you. It's a secret location, and they met up, and that's where Elder Tahib was telling him, what's going on, You sent a message to Queen Hagar, of course we don't want her to travel, especially not to see you, because we already know, your feelings for her and what's up, whatever. And then Rulen was still kind of hesitant to tell all of it, and that's when the two was making his influence. He was trying to expand his alliances so then he can come back up and attack Mahlon. Okay, so that's a very good episode. That's where, like I said, Rulen decide, fast forward, go ahead and help Mitrsayim. Okay, he could have said, no, I'm going to back up and I'm going to side with Natu and then go around and connect with Sanel and Natuo, because they two are a mess. But he decided on the behalf. And at the end, it says that, you can see where Rulen says it wasn't just for Mitrsayim or King Mahlon to help him and his crew, what have you. It was for Hagar to help her. So he did the right thing in the end, that moment. All right, let's go and move on to, so that was episode 49. Okay, let's go to episode 50. That's Hanee discovers a new path to obtain the Astar of Mitrsayim. And this is a very good episode, okay? This is where he followed that tribal man that came and wanted to oust out Oteen. Oteen was the initial one on the scene, a tribal leader that was helping Natu, that gave Natu General Akun. Okay, that happened in season 1. And in this episode 50, Hanee is shown an area over the mountain in this valley. We have these different huts, and it says here in my notes, Hanee followed the unnamed tribal man into the covered and long hut surrounded by many trees, an area that's not obviously seen, so it's hidden, right? And this is after Hanee entered the domain of Tamat. And basically in this particular one, he see his people. He's looking for someone, you could tell, and his high attendant was saying, I don't see anybody, we don't pick nobody up, these are just part of the soldiers. They definitely were a part of an Echo rule. So definitely like Hanee is like the super head man over all of them, and Echo was underneath him. And basically to move forward, he sensed something, or he saw something in the hut further on, and there were some herbalist people that was helping them, right? Helping the soldiers to get well, because I guess they're the water, the flood of water that came into the cave, that Mahlon made sure that his high attendants, closed it up with Echo in there. And whatever reason how they got out, it still was the sulfur in there. As I mentioned, the sulfur is different from the components of their liquid in Orion. So at any rate, you hear in that episode is very, very interesting, because at that moment you don't really know who they're looking for. Okay, and when Hanee went ahead and went further into this part of the hut, there's some type of device that they had, right? I was trying to describe it, I just can see it, and it was made of stones, colorful stones. It gave off some type of radiation type or vibration type alert, and to recognize one of them that was in a disguise or something to that nature. So definitely it seems like when they were found, the ones that survived from the flood in the cave, he must have told somebody, or a person that was trying to help them in that area, to hide his identity. Okay, Hanee, he sat near the soldier, squeezed his shoulder, I put here, and the male immediately opened his Orion eyes, his deep eyes, and Hanee handed the device, I guess they had, back to his high rank officer, they started to check him out and so forth. So Hanee and this person was talking. At this point, you still don't know who it is, right? And suddenly the soldier has said, I knew you would find me, but you should not have risked coming to Tamat. Again, that pops up because in the previous episode, when Hanee make his entrance, and then there's the incident in Mitrsayim where you have 4 or 5 disguised supposed Egyptians coming into the palace, and then later Ezra found out he's the high herbalist priest, and then he sent out a notice to the other priests in the area, Sidon, and then they come back to Kreen Hagar with their findings that there's a high rank Orion that entered the domain of Tamat. So it seems like it's an intergalactical type rule that you have to, communicate the entry and the exit. You just can't show up. And it brings back to that statement with this soldier telling Hanee, I knew you would find me, but you should not have risked coming to Tamat. And Hanee, he smiled, I got here, and he said something to this to remember. He said, that is what old friends are for. I will bring you back home. Right? So it does seem like they knew each other a long time. They probably definitely were in previous battles. But that's what can get from that, and the seriousness and the risk that Hanee took, because he could have let Lanko did, but for some reason Hanee felt like he needed to do it himself to make sure he bring back his friend, right? And the soldier at that time saying, I know the Apsu of me is for the eternity. That statement comes to the point where Hanee, high rank officer, also I guess a medical type specialist too, gave Hanee the sign that Echo was very in bad condition. And of course I just said it. So at the end of that episode, I reveal who this person is, and that's where Hanee said, of course, because this is not your home, Orion is, we will bring you back home, Echo. And I ended it like that. Echo survived for now, but not well enough to the point all good and whatever, but he definitely need help, and they came based in the right time to help them because they would have the right medicine. All right. And there was a reveal later. I just had a reveal about Kreen Hagar where she's finding out about Hanee entering Tamat. So that's something major you can get, that he shouldn't have done that, and it sets off a whole trickle of incidents and all of that with the other powers that be that have invested in the heritage of Mitrsayim, Egypt, right? So I'm getting into a little political part of that, but that was something major that he risked to do that. They was going to definitely identify his entry into the Tamat domain. All right, so that's a good episode. Go back and check that out. Let's go move on to episode 51 where it says when the dawn takes over the Kingo rays. So here we're talking about where King Mahlon was handed, let's see here. He said that, well, that's actually where King Mahlon is on the scene. He's closer to where Natu. He got the whereabouts of where General Akun is located from Rulen. And they on the scene and they are kicking butts, okay? King Kohan is there. Remember, he's over what we call Sababre. And they managed to bluster through and locate General Akun. And they found him and he's able to reunite with his son. It is so nice. And that's what he said. Yes, I see you, my son. And you with Mahlon. The one who always with a grand entrance. That's what General Akun said. That's a good line to Mahlon. So that also tells you that it's going to be a story of how King Mahlon, General Akun, King Kohan, there was some 3 Papares, I tell you. Find out all that background of them. But yeah, you could just kind of tell because they kind of joked a little bit of the old days or what have you. So King Mahlon said this that I liked. He said, I see you as strong as ever. I knew we will find you. For your will for life will never accept defeat. If that's not a true statement, I don't know what is. If you go back and read the episode I did, I think it's episode 48, General Akun speaks truth. At that moment when he put that weapon on Natu, he was like, I'm not gonna be defeated. We either gonna stand together or we gonna fall at the same, Either other way, I'm not going down. I'm not going to go down like that. I'm going to go down fighting to the end. That's how General Akun came off. And he said in this episode, he said, we are from the same cloth of warriors. T ain't lying. And King Kohan had said that as well. Yes, indeed. So those 3 been through something, I tell you, right? So that was a good episode overall. The herbalist as well, they had a medical type person there. It came on the scene, walked in, checked General Akun out, and they gave he's hanging on too, but yeah, he's in very bad shape. But King Mahlon, like, we'll still take care of him. We're gonna bring you home, bring you back to Mitzrayim. So definitely Mitzrayim and General Takun are Egyptians, okay? But then later on that moment, one of his high officers came by, and it was Hilik, right? Hilik, that's Hilik, that one, right? So it's still over the high rank of military officers underneath the rule of Mitzrayim, and gave him a message from Queen Hagar. He read it. Everybody got silent, and that's when King Kohan asked him, what is your choice of this? He said it to try to find out what was going on with King Mahlon. And King Mahlon, after he read the message, said, there has been a change in the direction of the noun. They sent Hanee to enter our domain of Tamat. And that's when King Kohan replied, what is your choice of this? And to me, for why? And King Mahlon just kind of shook his head, thinking, why would they break a galactical rule, someone as high rank of him from Orion, to step into our domain? So then that's when I said, here, King Mahlon, he looked around and he came back to him and he said, I must return back to Mitzrayim before the next dawn for the Astar. That's some deep mess. It's deep. It's so many different layers if you don't know it. And then, like I said, for me, just writing the book and able to feel now and pick up all these things of going in, backwards in time to put the pieces together, it's amazing. Once you open up one thing, you're like, okay, there's something else, like it kind of falls into another piece that goes into another box, and you open that box and there's a whole bunch of more stories out of this. It's just amazing. Let me get to episode 52. This is 52, which is the final season episode for my season 2, and it's entitled In the Divine Power of a Nubian King of Akun. There's so many things to talk about. This is just off the chart. There's so many things. This is where Lanko catches up with Natu, because Natu decided, once he saw those words, he started running. Heck, he started, let me go on here. I think more, if I feel it right now, that Natu aim was to try to get to Teen. Teen was the one that he could actually trust. It was General Takun that told him in that episode, General Takun speaks truth. Don't trust, the brothers, basically Sanel and Aturo. Turo is from the north, and that's where Hanee told Lanko to go and to meet with him and join an alliance. And he did, and that's when they came south, Turo forces and Lanko. And Lanko, was there trying to overtake Natu. And then you have Sanel, which Sanel said, yeah, I'm on your side. Sanel is a lie. He ain't doing nothing. But anyway, so Lanko cuts up with Natu. They get into a scuffle, and Lanko said to Natu actually said something to Lanko that, your choice to beseech me will be your last. And Lanko like, what a fool you are. And you will pay for the fall of Echo. So, dog, that says it right there, that Lanko, look, man, I know it's you. I know it was you. Okay? And you just have no idea the force that's going to come on you, right? And Natu was like, what you mean? So they just started fighting, right? And then that's when Lanko just said, don't worry, you will. You going to find out, okay? And, I'm not alone here to defeat you for your betrayal. But see, I think now more I'm talking about this and it's coming to me. Why it's like that is because Hanee broke a universal when he came into Tamat without addressing designated power that be on Tamat, which we call planet Earth, right? And that was going through Mitzrayim. To do that means that there's something else going on that is not in the intention of a positive outcome. It's like an aggressive attack. And for Lanko to say that, it's major, right? They was fighting, and the two able to get away. By that time, more forces are coming in to help Lanko. So I fast forward and I'll bring you to this scene where we're in Mitzrayim, and you see this scene, at least I saw it, where I have Queen Hagar. She's holding Princess Hanee hand, right? And then she's holding Queen Hanee hand, and there's some guards, and then King Mahlon. I just felt at this part juncture in that access to the pyramid that only the king could walk in, and only those designated priests in that sense of that type of knowledge, and his royal male of Theos, students, pupils, or what have you, okay, understudies, what have you. They are the only one to walk into this quaternary, this hallway, and deep into the pyramid. They get there, and I describe the scene or what have you, where there's exposed where we are seeing it is the Astar, or at least a element of the Astar, which we still don't know what that is, right? But it's something. And he took a piece of it. I just felt or saw, is this a like 1/8 or one, it's a piece of it, not the whole thing of this that is a part of the Astar. And he takes that King Mahlon, and it seems like he must be destined as part of the rulership of Mitrsayim, that you get that access or what have you, the knowledge and so forth. And it had to be Ezra to go on and do that process of lifting that particular containment up in the pyramid for King Mahlon to be able to take 1/8 of that. So that happened, and they leave. King Mahlon, all the males or what have you, they leave where they have got the coordinates to where they will see Hanee crossing the skies. And in that, you get a lot of information. It went real fast. So I definitely highly recommend you go back and read that. I described where Hanee is in their dome trying to leave. They have Echo and they have Nantu. Okay, so they captured Nantu and they brought Echo back. But before that happens, I did fast forward where I'm talking about Hanee walked up on Nantu. They caught up with Nantu. This is something very to take away. Hanee walked through the Orion guards when they captured Nantu, and Hanee walked through the Orion guards that parted ways as he looked straight ahead into Nantu, and he spoke to Nantu by saying, "Echo is alive, my brother." And Nantu was like, "What?" And he was like, "You always sided with him over your own." That's very deep. That's something you got to remember as we move forward. But yes, that even stuck to me when I wrote it. Like, what? So is Echo and Nantu, are they brothers? You see, like I said, if you just coming into this podcast and you trying to find out, what is she talking about? What she mean? Don't she know? I'm telling you, I'm writing this, but I'm sitting down, it's coming through. I'm telling you, that's how I wrote the book. It was not pre-planned, and I'm just going with it. So I'm learning it, getting the pieces together as I'm writing it out. And then when I do these directed clip notes, I'm able to come back and actually absorb what I wrote and able to really digest it and understand it more, because I'm not pre-planning these character scenarios. It's just I sit down and in front of my computer and I just start typing, and then I might sit there and kind of look out and like of the last one, and then you know what, I feel this is what it needs to be. Then when I go back, it fits like a puzzle. All right, that's very important. So I want to repeat that. When they caught up with Nantu walked through the crowd of his guards or what have you that was holding Nantu, and he looked right into his eyes. He said, "Echo is alive, my brother." And being resistant and confused, Nantu was like, "You know what? You always sided with him over your own." That's something that's going to come up in the future. Are they brothers? What's going on? Is Echo one of them? I don't know, but definitely Nantu did not find well of siding with Echo. Or are they the same species? Are they not? I don't know. But in the future, you're going to find out. But right now, you got to say, what? Hanee retained his composure, and he said, "You will fall upon our return to Orion at your judgment." So Nantu going on trial, and that's going to be a good scene when they come through, okay? Because Nantu just is like, but I do feel with Nantu, he almost like Sanel. He always end up getting out of this and that. I don't know how, but yeah. But that's what he said. So anyway, fast forward, they in the sky. So they about to leave, right? Hanee getting out of Tamat, and his officers are telling him, "We need to hurry because Echo is looking really bad, and we got to hurry and get him back to where the medicines that we have more of to help him." Then they realized, or somehow they knew, that King Mahlon had a part of this Astar, fearing that they're not going to be able to make it out. And that's when Hanee told his high attendant, "You go first, you leave the main dome. I'll take this part and I'll destroy something." They're destroying something and make it look like that they really took them down, but not. And then you have Mahlon getting off his horse looking like a hero, came out, did his little Olympic turn, and threw part of that Astar out towards the dome of Hanee. And then it came back, ricocheted, and came back. Ooh, Lord, I got to come back to that part. Yeah, that was deep when I saw it in my mind and then wrote it out. And at the end of that, Hanee survived, right? He survived. And then you have where King Mahlon was there, Kamar Tatar was there, and a whole bunch of other soldiers. And King Mahlon basically said, I think it was here we go. General Kamar Tatar spoke in awe of what he saw, right? When King Mahlon got off the horse and he was trying to chase it down. He was trying to bring them down, like, we finna fight now. You gonna come into my domain, okay? To my world, okay, no, we ain't finna fly out. We're gonna go on ahead, because he knows someone initiated the war. It was a big war, right? Something. It was major betrayal, and he's gonna like, hey, we're gonna figure this out. We're gonna fight this. If it's you, let's bring it. You the cause of it. What's going on? And so when he threw a part of that Astar, it did create damage. Hanee was able to get away, so forth. And then Kamar Tatar was like, and all of them were, and they was like, now they know where you stand, Mahlon, and there are no more. King Mahlon, he was still like high in the drill, and he was like, man, let's bring it, let's fight or whatever. And King Mahlon said before he got back on the horse, Hanee left other cedants here before his escape, so I would take this war to him. What? I'm gonna say that again, okay? He got off his horse. He took the piece of the 1/8 of this Astar. We don't know what that is. That came from deep into the pyramids that only the king can go in to get. He got the coordinates pretty much, I bet you, from Ezra. Probably. It had to be somebody. Anyway, knew what part of what direction he needed to go from Mitrsayim, that he would see them crossing the skies, because he already figured that they coming from the south of Sudan. And he get off. He did this little Olympic turn, disc, or whatever it was. I couldn't remember if it was a disc or what, but it was just a piece. It was some type of metal. Right now I can't think in my mind how it was shaped. I don't think it was, maybe similar to a disc, but anyway, he threw it, and it connected like a magnet to the dome that he felt that can bring him down, but they already had dispatched out. All right. And that's when they thought, oh, General Kamar Tatar, like, man, that's, wow. Now they know you mean business, all right? And I see it's falling, so, it's on now. King Mahlon said, no, I ain't a fool. It is not. Hanee left, but I know he left other cedants here before his escape. So I would take this war to them. You can read that so many ways, but at the nutshell, it is not over. But guess what's over? This episode. All right. So I want to thank you so much for joining me today. Please download the app. You can get that on Google and Apple Store. Okay. You should. The MOLIAE app is still being worked on. It's got to upload that. Let it go through the process. You'll get that. If you like this podcast, please share it with someone. And if you do like it, you've been following me for a while and download it, go ahead and log in and be a free access to. And just leave me a message like, you know what, I really enjoy this. Tell me which your favorite character is. Go to our MOLIAE Facebook page. Go ahead and say, hey, you can get a fan badge if you like my posts associated with these podcasts or what have you. Tell me what your favorite character is. Tell me what you love about it, what you don't love about it. Hopefully you love about it 100%. But at any rate, go ahead and show your support as well. And thank you so much for joining me today. And next month will be my season 3, starting on September the 9th, 2019. Thank you. So long.